for spending time with us. You're listening to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
And I'm Eric Stromer.
And this is a show that's all about improving your home and improving your life. And if you have a garden, or if you don't have a garden, you probably would like to have a kind of a distinctive look to border, kind of give an edge to all of your plantings. I mean, you're thinking, no, I don't want that. I think you do want this.
I think it makes all the difference, and it's like the frame around a photograph.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so you can go to these garden centers and buy these little plastic pop-up borders.
Please don't do that.
That look like they're little black things.
They're not right for you.
It looks kind of...
It's like you just took the easy road.
Well, we just have some ideas that we wanted to share that may kind of give you some inspiration. Yeah. So, for instance, if you love to drink a nice bottle of wine, or let's say you drink a lot of bottled water, you know, the kind that comes, maybe even sparkling water, that comes in those beautiful cobalt blue bottles.
Right.
Okay? I'm talking about using those bottles, wine bottles, sparkling water bottles, and you're going to form a garden edge with these bottles upside down. So
you're just seeing the bottom of the bottle.
You're seeing the bottle
and keeping it out maybe 4 or 5 inches.
It could be even taller. It could be as much as 5 to 8 inches, or you can kind of push it all the way in as far as you need. But the idea is you're recycling. You're being artistic, and it really, as long as the bottles, I think it would be good if they matched.
Yeah, they want to all be the same. You don't just want to, otherwise it'll look like some junky bottles.
It'll look like, because if they're all blue or all, kind of a burgundy, or green, I think that it would be fun, so check that out. Next time you are having some refreshment or, adult beverage in bottles, collect maybe about 20 of them over time. And then you can use this along a path. Now, for instance, let's say you already have a brick pathway. You could then now use this on the exterior of that, right?
Another perimeter thing. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Love it.
So it's a great idea, a great creative DIY garden border. Now, here's another one. It's a little less finished. Let's just say this is kind of more homespun. It's using basically a landscaping bed with fallen tree branches. So the idea is that you would gather up some of these tree branches, and now very whimsy, very artistic, and now this can kind of cup up against where you're growing your lettuces, let's say.
Yeah, it looks like a natural pathway, like something you'll see in a state park, and it ends up being really pretty.
Really pretty.
Yeah.
So if you do have some trees where you've been doing some trimming, or you have a gardener doing some trimming, think of saving some of those branches. But how do we the key is putting them in a kind of a formation so it doesn't look like you're, it's a scout fire in the makings, right? You're creating kindle. I mean, how do you make it so it's just the right bundle?
You want to have, varying sizes and lengths.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing should be under probably 18 inches long. I think it should all be at least 2 feet or longer. 2 to 3 feet. So you can make turns if you need to, right? But if the twigs are too small, it's going to end up looking like you just threw some logs on the ground. But if you have them a little bit longer and varying sizes, it ends up looking really, really pretty.
Cool.
Yeah.
How about using river rock? I mean, this is that you see those polished stones in the store. You can buy them by the bag, right?
Yep.
Here's a chance to create a nice little border that's along your pathway, but it's just between the pathway and, let's say, the front lawn.
Yeah, and that's actually not a difficult thing to do. If you use the pathway as your guide, you can then take a shovel and dig out the grass about 6 to 8 inches from the pathway in toward the grass. Take the soil out in the grass, right, so that you have a nice even line. And then within that line, the form of the dirt beneath it, the sidewalk on one side and the grass on another, can actually be for your cement that you'll lay down. You'll just pour cement there, and then you'll just push stones into it, and the cement becomes the grout.
I love it.
And then you've got that nice look. That's a hard surface. If you want to just lay the stones out, you could then do it in a bed of sand or even soften dirt to kind of just get them to sink down slightly, but then they won't be as rigid as if it were cement. Yeah.
And especially if you have all, they all are that same tone, or that black kind of super polished, those pebbles, those river rock stones, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of, in terms of clustering them together, maybe 4 or 5 across, but not too matchy, but it has a flow, and it has a nice little border, as if it were like a stripe right along parallel with your walkway.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
It's very, very clean, and I think it would go with a lot of different home styles.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now here's something a little different. If you love seashells, if you have a chance to gather whole clam shells, this actually makes a really pretty and unique between grass and flower beds edging. And what it is you would get some of these sun-bleached, it's a beachy border, and it kind of gives you the feel, especially if it's a cottage, kind of a beach home.
Right.
And you would kind of just perch these clamshells, these whole clamshells, maybe 2 or 3 in a row, all around the little flower bed, between the grass and the flower bed.
Yeah, just something to give you, delineation between the flower bed and the grass, other than the plastic stuff you buy at the home improvement store, which I just think looks terrible.
Yeah,
so this is cute. If you have a little ton of shells, or maybe you live in a beach community, or you go on a vacation, you're able to grab a satchel full of these things. It would be a really nice look.
And I'm sure you can go online and find some, and some of the arts and crafts stores sell these shells too. So it's a great idea.
Right.
If you especially love the nautical theme. Now here's something. If you love kind of more the rustic look, I love the idea of taking some of these steel pipes and then not only turning it into a border, but then filling them with some plantings. They're cylinder planters.
Yeah, that's right. These are things you'd find in like a construction site, or maybe some of these hardware stores might be selling or getting rid of old stuff. Anything that
like
is
plumbing piping.
Yeah,
basically?
Plumbing piping, or things that are steel where they'll rust and patina a little bit on you, because if it's just galvanized, it's going to end up looking like you just got something out of the ground. But these are more sort of industrial steel that has that look that can rust up on you, and that really gives it a kind of a nice industrial feel to it.
And if you're able to have them all the same height, or they could be varying heights too, right?
Yeah, and then you just bury them and fill them with earth, almost all the way to the top, and then you could put succulents or any kind of planting over it, and then they'll cascade down if you want them to.
Really
it's actually
pretty.
A really cool look.
And then little pebbles, little topping, so that you won't see the soil. It's very, very pretty.
Yeah.
Now, how about this? If you had an eclectic collection of dinner plates, now work with me here, because you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, are you going to put plates in your garden? But this actually can give it kind of a cool look if you do it just the right way. If you had an area, maybe it's a corner, right? It's kind of a little, almost a fairy tale part of your garden. Let's say you have an angel statue and you have a lot of flowers and shrubs. In that border, you could maybe take, I don't know, half a dozen to a dozen of plates that you have, okay? And you just kind of perch them along the edge, and it kind of just gives a colorful, whimsy border.
So you're burying them in so that like half of the plate is exposed.
Yes.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, that's kind of cute.
It's different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not for everybody, but it could work if that is how your garden, if you almost have kind of an English kind of a garden feel,
right?
Fairy tale garden.
Yeah, kind of kitschy too.
Yeah. How about just using some of your unused terracotta flower pots upside down for a real bright, no frills terracotta border?
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So basically, if you have them, especially...
Because, we all have a ton of those things laying on the side of the house. If you have enough and they're not plastic but terracotta, I think they work out pretty well.
And the idea is that now you could, you can turn them upside down. It kind of gives you this bright, no-frills border, and it works right. Let's say you had a section of ivy or ground cover, and you had some landscape lights kind of growing out of there. It's kind of cool, and especially if you use some of the small ones. I think maybe, the 4 inches...
Yeah, 4 inches or
so.
smaller. Yeah, that would look really cute. You know what else is great? If you've got sort of a Zen garden feel, you can utilize some of the bamboo that you can buy, and get different sizes and different heights to create a border. You just have to bury them down probably about 6 inches, and then the rest stick up to kind of border any kind of an area that you'd want to have. And it ends up looking really pretty. It's got that Zen feel to it. It's got the bamboo look. And then if you've got that, sort of Zen garden feel with the statues and the pond and all that stuff, I think it can really work wonders. Looks fantastic. Another great thing to do, if you have extra brick laying around, bricks can be really pretty if they're buried at a slight angle to kind of give you the look from the path to the garden, and you dig down a little bit and you put the bricks in the earth and then have them come up about 6 inches, either straight up and down or slightly angled. I think that looks really pretty as well.
Very, very nice. Or what about if you also were kind of into the Valley High tropical look with the oh, I see. Okay, you already had the. What about if you then went to the next level and you kind of took it like to the forest's edge and you turn over like wood logs into this dramatic raised border, like birch logs? That looks
that's
really
kind of cool too. Yeah, I like that. You know what else too? Scrap wood. If you've got a bunch of scrap wood, you can paint it different colors and kind of antique it and stick that down into the ground to a different height. So it almost looks like a picket fence.
Very cute.
That you've created with these different color tones too. I mean, some pastel tones might be
So maybe
pretty.
3 or 4 different heights, but and a couple of colors. Very playful and very creative. Well, we have some more great things to tell you about to help you enjoying your home and enjoying your life. Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole, you're listening to Home Wizards.
It seems she didn't care about me anymore. Gave her all the love